Well, welcome back to the Truck Show Podcast. I'm your host, Holman. And on this episode of the Truck Show Podcast, we're going to dive deep into the world of paint protection film. And we'll be checking in with Jason March from Protective Film Solutions in Orange County, California, a premier installer of vehicle protection film. In fact, these guys made a name for themselves as one of the top shops in the country. And they were so good that XPEL bought them and turned them into a corporate store. So we'll have more on that in the interview, but special thanks to friend of the show, XPEL's Chris Hardy, for wanting to get the new Jeep protected and setting up this interview and installation on the 392. So now my 392 is fully protected and rocking XPEL tint, PPF, ceramic, and windshield film, and we're going to be diving into each of those products, who can use them, who they're right for, how to maintain them, along with talking about some of the technologies that are currently available in the PPF space. So you don't want to miss this one, especially if you're interested in keeping your vehicle look nice. It's a great interview filled with a ton of info on how to keep your pride and joy looking good and protected for years to come. Also, on the Gladiator front, you guys know I've got this 25 Jeep Gladiator from Mopar I've been rocking, and they sent me some parts. So this week, we installed the Mopar exhaust on it. So this is a Pentastar automatic truck, and if you've ever heard of Jeep or Gladiator or Pentastar, they're just sort of quiet and they just don't have a great exhaust note. I mean, the engine note's fine. They're fine, but there's just no personality. And I was excited to get an exhaust on there because it was like, all right, I'm driving this thing around. I want to hear what the engine's up to. So Mopar sent me the exhaust on a pallet in my driveway, and we went and visited our friends over at Adventure Off-Road here in Huntington Beach, California. And they turned this boring, soulless exhaust into something with a little more personality. And the results are awesome. I'm actually really impressed with how much better it sounds. It's really, really smooth and really pleasant. And for a V6, has a nice throaty tone to it. Definitely transforms the personality of the Gladiator. And it sounds good, but it's not obnoxious at all. Like, it's really just like throaty and smooth. And I've been driving it around and it's great. And so it's funny, I was originally going to do it myself in the driveway, so I just wanted to check online and hit some YouTube videos and found out that the factory center section is so long you have to have it on a lift to pull it out with the axle drooped. I'm like, I don't want to deal with that in my driveway. So took it to Adventure Off-Road. Ends up, even on the lift with the axle drooped out, we just cut the stock exhaust in half and pulled it out. We got it done over there. It took a couple hours, and it sounds great. So I just wanted to play for you guys. Here's the stock exhaust, and it's not that exciting. Right? Like, leaves a little bit to be desired, especially if you're an enthusiast and you want to hear it. So here's the factory exhaust, now replaced with the Mopar dual exhaust. That's quite the difference. Even on startup, it has a nice throaty little bark to it. So if you've got a Gladiator and you're looking for some Mopar sound, the part number 82216276AA retails around $2,100. It's a stainless system. You can get it with the black tips on the back, and street price is a few $100 less than that on various places online. So anyway, highly recommended for somebody who wants a little bit of sound out of their Gladiator, and I've certainly been enjoying it myself. And I will say that it does feel like it has a little bit crisper throttle tip in. I'm not going to say like, oh, I gained 15 horsepower or anything like that, but it does feel a little bit better on tip and a little bit more responsive and just sounds great. So before we get into PPF at PFS from XPEL with Jason March, we need to, of course, thank the companies that make the Truck Show Podcast possible. So as you know, the Truck Show Podcast is proudly brought to you in partnership with AMSOIL, the maker of the best synthetics, and it's what we use in our rigs. You can go to AMSOIL.com and you can find synthetic oil, lubricants, greases, additives, filter, car care products, and yes, even merch. We use AMSOIL products to protect our rigs, and you can do the same at AMSOIL.com. Do you need a knife? Then head on over to Kershaw.kiusa.com and explore their line of exceptional pocket knives. They have a huge selection of quality knives from EDCs, made in the USA knives, and yes, even automatics. Score one for yourself today. And if you want to treat yourself to the latest in adventure, gear, and upgrades for your vehicle, go to OVRMag.com and use the code @TruckShowPodcast for a discount on print or a 1-year access to our digital library for free. Please help me to keep the Truck Show podcast free by supporting our sponsors or leaving reviews on Apple or Spotify. By the way, 1 new review on Spotify, 0 on Apple. You guys are slacking. Get over there. Give us some 5-star reviews. Help the show out. And, of course, don't forget to check the Truck Show podcast page, truckshowpodcast.com, for the latest deals.
The Truck Show. We're gonna show you what we know. We're gonna answer what the truck, 'cause truck rhymes with the Truck Show. We have the lifted, we have the lowered, and everything in between. We'll talk about trucks that run on diesel, electricity, and on gasoline. The Truck Show, the Truck Show, the Truck Show. Oh, oh.
It's the Truck Show with your host, Holman.
After all these years, still love our jingle. Oh, by the way, did you know this month? It's our 8th anniversary, and we've done over 500 Truck Show podcast episodes. Over 500. I don't know what it is. I think this is like 503 or maybe 504 or something like that if you count the trailer. I don't know, but we're over 500 officially. This is our 8th year, and you guys have been absolutely amazing for sticking with the show for this long and listening to me ramble week after week. And anyway, please welcome to the show Jason March and the inside job of slinging PPF.
It's the inside job, baby. Yes, it is. It's the inside job now. It's the inside job, baby. It's time for you to share 1, 2, 2.
All right, so here I am in the office of Jason March at Protective Film Solutions here in Orange County. And so what's your title in this awesome building?
I don't love titles, but it is technically operations manager.
So we always joke because we've had people on who have 7 words in their title, and we're like, oh, it must be really important. You have a lot of words in your title. Operations manager, that's pretty straightforward, right?
It is, yeah.
So the reason I found myself here, so PFS, if you don't know, or Protective Film Solutions, the name, the brand, has been well known in the automotive industry, especially in high-end cars, for a really long time. And sort of legendary. I mean, you guys have gotten all sorts of awards over the years. You see your cars at all the car shows, at SEMA, full color changes, clear PPF, all the stuff. And the way I ended up here was actually through Expel, because you were one of Expel's, or I'd say their best dealer. They ended up buying out PFS and making it a corporate store.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's been working with Expel for all this time has been amazing, and then now to have the actual support of them as a parent company is just next level.
So how it ended up for me is, if you guys remember, you're listening to the show, Lightning and I were talking about having protective film on our vehicles or PPF, and I was like, that's great for your street car or your whatever, but it's not going to hold up off-road. And Lightning got Chris on as like a subject matter expert. And he's like, no, we have the self-healing layer. And I'm like, yeah, but it's not really going to work. And Chris is like, all right, I'll put my money where my mouth is. We'll just wrap your new Jeep that you're getting.
Yeah.
And a year later, after thousands and thousands of off-road miles, I was a believer. Not only did the hydrophobic coating work well when it was wet, but also in the dust off-road. If you look at pictures of my Jeep, you'll see it looks clean off-road. All my friends behind me from days on the trailer, completely dusty. It looks like I was at the car wash.
Yeah, show car.
Yeah, all the desert pinstripes. The protective layer is super thin, but if you don't breach it, they sort of melt back into the film in the sun or in heat. And there'll be some light scratches that get through, but honestly, if you guys go to OVR Mag and you look up Expel, do a search, you'll see my install article where I walk you through what it takes, but also what it looked like after a year of being punished off-road, and I couldn't believe it. Like, it was, and I don't know how many off-road vehicles you guys get through the shop, but it was pretty amazing how good the Jeep looked, to the point that we were at an Overland show in Pomona, California, at the Fairplex, and OVR had a booth, and I had my Jeep all set up with the awning and all that stuff in our booth space. And I was just sitting there, and one guy walks by and goes, whoop, there's another one that'll never go off-road. And I'm like, dude, you have no idea. This thing's been thousands of miles off-road. That's how good it looks.
Yeah.
And so, big believer, and as everyone listening knows, I had an accident back in April, and that Jeep is no longer with us. Fortunately, I am. But I had reached out to Chris at Expel, and I said, hey, Chris, love the product, love working with you, would love to get Expel on the new one. I don't know if there's a good guy price. It's, it's not cheap, but it's amazing. And Chris said, dude, I'm so sorry to hear about it. We want to get you back with our brand, back in the product. I want to send you down. Are you in Orange County? Yeah, I'm in Orange County. Hey, how far is PFS from you? 15 minutes. Great. I want to hook you up with our corporate store. And so here I am. You reached out and said, hey, this is Jason at PFS. I'm supposed to call you about doing your Jeep?
Yeah, pretty much, right? Not far off from that.
So what was that? What did he call and say? What was the conversation?
Yeah, Chris and I go way back. I guess kind of now. It's been 8 years since I've been with PFS and now Expel. So Chris is great. I love the guy. So he facilitates a lot of the deals that maybe wouldn't be local or for some of these bigger deals like through the off-road channel. So Chris said, hey, I got this great guy. He had an unfortunate incident. We did some work on his Jeep in the past. He loved our product. We really want to make him feel good and take care of him. So say no more. That's kind of the cool part of what we do here is that we're able to execute with, Expel's permission on these projects. So, I guess now going back to
mission accomplished, by the way.
Thank you.
You hit all those goals. We'll talk about it.
Thank you. Yeah. So I guess we do get in a lot of these projects that are otherwise never seen, right? So like for the off-road space, we don't do a whole lot of them, right? I think like at our show this weekend, yours was the only one that stood out there.
Well, I think that was part of when I first talked to Chris. Is he's like, we know this product works in that space, but that's not where people know us, so we want to get that exposure.
Yeah.
And I think, again, having the new Jeep done, the same thing is I'm going to go out there and talk about it, and people are always asking, why does this thing look so good? And it's funny when I tell them, I just went to my club, my cigar lounge the other night, and the guys were like, did you get that thing wrapped? So they're walking around it, and they're like, that's not wrapped.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, it's full wrap. And they're like, no, it's not. So they're like taking their fingernails, and I'm like, you can feel it if you're, and I'm like, don't scratch it, dummy, but they were blown away. But again, people aren't used to that in this part of the industry. And I think I'm a huge proponent of it. There's a huge benefit, which we'll get into, but to your point.
Yeah, and I always appreciate hearing that because that is the goal, is what you don't see on the car, right?
Yeah.
So taking on like a project like this is definitely refreshing because we do get a lot of sports cars, exotic cars that run through this shop. We've done trucks over the years, a lot of Raptors, but not necessarily a lot of them that are specifically going to go off-roading.
Yeah.
So with this job, both Chris and myself wanted to throw the works at it. This thing got full body PPF. It got full window tint. Windshield protection, ceramic coating, the full 9 yards on it. So it's always good to hear that you're a fan of all the products because that thing is beautiful.
Thank you.
But you do use it as intended.
Yeah.
And you're going to prove why there's a need in that space.
When I come back next year at this time and I go, okay, can you trim the tails and stuff?
Yeah. There'll be stuff to go over.
Yeah.
There's stuff that we'll want to tweak, but that's the intent, is that let the product work for you.
Yeah.
Versus your car taking a beating and now it's got to go to a paint shop or you got to replace windows. Or you're going to spend 3 hours trying to get that caked mud off of there because it's just not coming off.
Yeah, and for me, we've had this conversation before when I first came in, I'm one of those guys that, listen, I love to go off-road, and I love to hit the trails, and I don't want to be afraid of branches and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But when I'm in the city, I want it dialed.
Yeah.
I want it to be detailed. I want it to look great. And so I want people to think that it has never been off-road when they see it in the city. You know, that's almost a compliment because I keep it up.
I just took it to dinner and it was freshly washed and it looks solid.
Yeah, the valet didn't say anything when he got in, right? Like that's and this is a product that helps me kind of live that way where I can have my cake and eat it too. I can have something really nice when I'm in the city, but I'm not afraid to go and use it as intended, and that's a big deal. So let's walk over what product did we put on it, and when you say full coverage, the headlights are covered. Yeah. Even with the AV bumper, which is tight to the grill, you guys are able to put the grill surround piece on the colored part of it all the way around.
Yeah.
And we did the doors and quarters. We did the hood. The hood is a monster.
It is.
On that thing. Like it's really hard because there's so many elevation changes. You have the pockets for the hinges. You have the hood bulge. You have it narrowing. You've got the vent. Like it's not easy.
Yeah. The Jeeps have their challenges. It also has the external hinges and hardware.
Yeah.
So a lot of times, when you have that car in the shop and then you got a Ferrari next to it, it might be the Jeep that's more difficult. Yeah. Right? It's not a routine car, but also has a lot of weird odds and ends like the vents and stuff.
All
and
the
stickers.
Well, when you walk out in the shop and the dude's got a Ferrari, FX or something like that, he looks at the Jeep and goes, oh, shit, right? There's probably something to that. Because I sat through the last time we had it PPF, and I watched the entire process for a week, and I was there every day, and I could not believe the amount of labor that is involved. And I asked him, I said, what's your hardest vehicle? And they said, probably the Jeep. And I was like, you would think it's a big square and it should be easy, but it's not. It's actually a very convex design.
Yep.
The side bulges, there's different little scallops on it. You've got all the plastic vents with the metal exposed hinges and body gaps. And around all those body gaps, you guys are wrapping around the backside into the door openings and all that so that those tails don't catch dust or catch a branch that's going to start peeling or working its way into a bubble or something.
I got to hire you to work here.
Yeah, okay.
You got it. But you nailed it. And that's why, ironically, one of the most time-consuming and expensive cars that's not exotic. Can you guess what it is? It's actually a G-Wagon.
Oh, I can totally see that.
You see why now, right?
Yeah.
You just explained the exact reason.
Totally.
So on those cars, it's a giant box, but there's a ton of pieces. And the way we do the whole side of that car is one piece. So there's a lot of shops out there that'll do multiple pieces. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
It's just...
And we've talked about it before on the show. XPEL has some of the best templates in the game. And there's some cars that you want to use those templates on, and there's other cars that come in where the installer is going to use a fresh sheet because their style or how they know to wrap that vehicle requires like some craftsmanship and skill.
Extended edges here and there. So on certain cars like the G-Wagon, it's an expensive car, but it's just an expensive install for that reason.
Yeah.
So the Jeep had some challenges on it. So I know like the first thing we had to do is we got the car in, did a paint correction.
I drove it 3,000 miles before it got here, and Chris even asked me, "Are you going to have it done in Michigan?" I'm like, "I just want to get home."
Yeah.
And so I tried so hard and I took I-70 home. I'm in Colorado. I'm in the mountains. There's construction zones. I only heard 2 times where rocks hit that thing. One was just an errant rock in Iowa or something. But I was in Colorado and a Dodge Ram dropped his left rear wheel off of the road into some gravel, and I got shotgunned. And I was like, no!
Yeah, you hear it blasting that front end.
And I looked and I didn't see any damage on it, but I did notice after the paint correction, there's one tiny little primer spot. Yeah. And I was like, man, I didn't even see that until you guys went through.
It wasn't bad.
No, it wasn't bad.
It probably sounded bad at the time, but the car actually looked pretty good. And that's part of the thing with the paint correction is it does get rid of like light scratches and swirls. Yeah. But once you get pitted up and chipped, you don't want to sit there and touch it all up.
Yeah.
So I was actually shocked that I was in as good of condition as it was because the Jeeps are just a flat wall.
Oh, dude,
it takes impact
everything.
and it just absorbs it.
Yeah,
it wasn't too
my
bad.
windshield looked like an etymology experiment. Like I had every bug from the Western United States stuck to the front of that thing.
Yeah. So I mean, paint correction was necessary just for the light scratches and swirls. It's a red car. So it's right in the middle of being dark and light.
Yeah.
So just a basic one step, kind of polished everything out. And got it prepped for the biggest thing, which was the full body PPF coverage.
And going back to the paint correction, Jeeps are kind of bad anyway. They don't have the best paint quality. There's a lot of orange peel just because of the surface area on them. Yeah. And it's not hidden in the shape of the body. It's just sort of a flat wall, so you get some of that orange peel. And then there's a lot of, with the exposed hinges and like that, like there's some times on Jeeps I've seen where the tailgate panels are, you see a little line of primer where the robot didn't quite get it when it got sprayed. And so like you guys are really taking into account like any thin spots, really kind of making sure that it's swirl free, the clear coat's dialed, everything looks nice before you memorialize it underneath. Seal it up in a case. What do they call it? The catacombs or something like that? Or
so as soon as
sarcophagus.
Once that thing is sealed up, there's no one doing it. So that's a great reason why you should want to do paint correction first. Yeah. So that paint correction went smooth on there. We also did something a little unique with their decals. Yeah. So we took those off first.
Okay, so the story behind that is mine's a final edition. You guys know that Jeep said it was a final edition for 3 years in a row because they thought it was, and then they're like, oh, emissions, we can still pass? Yeah, okay, we're making a lot of money? Oh, let's raise the price, right? And so now you guys know the 2026 Moab edition is a 392, but it's not a Rubicon. So mine really was the Rubicon final edition. But I hated the graphics. I hated final edition. It was so dumb. And it also had a hood graphic on it. Well, I'm not a big fan of the Stellantis, Ram, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep hood graphics because they get etched really easy over time. Yeah. So a lot of the hard water stains and things, you can never return them to stock. And I don't have lights above the windshield header. So the first thing I said is, can we just take all the stickers off? And my friend Matt owns Jeep Graphics Studio in Michigan, and they're the licensed Mopar Jeep sticker maker. Nice. And I asked him, I said, hey, can I get the exact Rubicon font, but in something a little bit better? And he's like, yeah, I got you. So I've got the exact Rubicon size and font, but it has like a topo pattern behind it. And so rather than cutting out the old letters in the PPF and creating a ton of edges, you said just pull it all off, we'll put it on, and then we'll get everything on top of it.
Yeah.
And it looks great. Like you can't tell the difference between that and stock other than the stickers are different.
Yeah, and your friend did a great job because they look like factory. And that's always my goal, is to make a car look like an original or look more expensive.
Yeah.
Never to make it look aftermarket or take away and make it cheesy.
Totally agree.
So I really like the graphics that you went with on it. So getting off those factory ones to make sure that the paint correction went smooth before locking the PPF. So the next step was the fun part of full body PPF. So on this car in particular, got full body Expel Ultimate Plus. It's the latest film by Expel. It's an 8 mil thick film with a 10-year manufacturer warranty on it. They actually do make a thicker film that's out there. It's a 10 mil, so 25% thicker. We do on certain cars, a lot of track cars will get it.
Yeah.
Just depends on goal and budget.
And we put that on the leading edge of the flares on mine, right?
We did. Yeah. So we did, in addition to the full body 8 mil, we did the 10 mil added sections on top on the fenders. And that way you can always take them off.
Yeah.
Because we know it's going to get beat up.
Oh, it's going to get hammered.
Yeah.
For sure. They're going to look fuzzy in a year.
Yeah. But that's the purpose of having it, right? And it's how far do you go and chase the double layer film everywhere.
Yeah, right.
So the bulk of that was the 4-day process of doing that. We use the Expel template in the system, and that's why you see the plotters in the back.
Yep.
And then with a lot of our technicians here that have been doing this for 10 years, they know where to extend the edges. And the whole purpose of doing the extended edges is to give that final touch of hiding the seams wherever you can. Because even though the install will be really good, any exposed seam is going to collect dust and dirt.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what type of install was done. So we really want to try to lock that in and avoid that from happening. The bulk of that is really what's protecting the car. With paint protection film, I've only been in the industry for 8 years myself, but it's come a long way over time. This is the latest product, but if people think back when PPF first came out, I always go back to like 996 Porsches.
Oh, yeah.
And they had the partial bra on the front end. And it was just a nice little square, and it turned yellow within a couple of years. So oftentimes, there's people out there that think, oh, that's what PPF is.
But now you talk about 10-year warranty, plus you've got the UV stable inhibitor in there. So now, I think there's a couple of things, correct me if I'm wrong, that Expel guarantees, and that's with a 10-year warranty, you can remove it pretty easily at 10 years versus it coming off in pieces like a wrap would.
Yeah.
I mean, how many vinyl wraps have you seen that last a couple of years in the sun on a plumbing truck?
Yeah, it's done.
And they're impossible. I mean, it's $2,000 in labor just to take it off.
Yeah.
The other thing is it won't yellow in that 10-year time period because of the UV inhibitor.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the nice thing about having this product is that it's really the best on the market. There's a lot of great products out there that have similar warranties and similar results, but Expel really stands behind this. And to your point, they do say, hey, at least for 10 years, as long as you're properly maintaining your car and it's garage kept, it's going to last. Will it last longer than that? Probably. But at least for 10 years, you don't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
So that was another big thing, I think, with the PPF industry is that PPF might cause paint issues. It couldn't be further from the truth. If you have underlying paint issues or a poorly repainted part, that's different. That's going to bond to anything at that point. But it really is a great product.
So just going through some of the cars, the first day you brought me in, kind of gave me the tour when I came here, I was blown away. I mean, there was so many unique, like 1 of 100, 1 of 25, like weird, cool stuff. You guys had the Bugatti at the open house this past weekend, which is I think 1 of 99 or something like that.
Yeah, the Mistral.
Oh, dude, that thing was beautiful. And then there's a line of Teslas, right? Because you guys have a deal with getting them wrapped.
We do, yeah. We get a wholesale program through Tesla, so it's always funny to see those.
Those are the most mainstream thing here, but everything. There's like a MC20 that was here, a bunch of McLarens, I mean, it looked like a car magazine inside, like if you could collect all the cool supercars. And then there's a couple of them that were beautiful, but were maybe 2 or 3 years old. You're like, oh, this guy rotates through his collection, and we did this car, and now it's been a couple of years, so it's back for us to go, kind of dial this one back in. I was so blown away at, the level of craftsmanship and the job, because I was walking around like trying to figure out which ones had PPF and where, but also just the quality of clientele and cars that come through this place is unbelievable.
Yeah, and honestly, that's what makes me come in every day is that when you're around this, I'm a car enthusiast through and through. Obsessed is an understatement with cars. I've been that guy on the forums, till 3 in the morning. I did that ever since I was probably 12 years old.
Yeah.
So I'm aging myself now. But yes, I love cars. And everyone on the team here is the same way. And so when you come in and you're around this stuff every day, it makes it a little bit easier to come to work. And having really cool clients like we do is just the icing on top of that. So it's cool. You know, you came in, you saw the Ferrari S790XX that was here from a longtime client. He rotates his cars out. He wants them perfect, so he sends it blindly and says, "What does the car need?"
Yeah,
and we advise on it, and we have his best interest in mind. Like I owned the car, right? Yeah. But yeah, that's kind of the cool stuff that we get to see in PFS.
And then there's some stupid Jeep comes rolling in. Everybody's like, "What is that thing?"
No, it's perfectly in line, because as much as I don't know about the off-road world or Jeeps, I can tell when a car is expensive.
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell your wife that, but I know it's an expensive Jeep. And it's super pretty. It's because you care about it, and you're going to use it and go off-roading. But again, like you said, you want to take pride in it around town.
So once you put the Expel on, so now we've got the vehicle is covered. You've gone through the process. And it's actually a really interesting process to watch. You either cut out a sheet from the template on the plotter, or you use a complete piece. You remove some parts, sometimes like door handles and rubbers and things like that, so you can wrap the edges and kind of have everything hidden. Then you go through the process of laying it out, squeegeeing it, and then it's got to cure for a little bit also, right, for the moisture to get out. Then you go, actually, this film has an impregnated ceramic in it, but you also ceramic on top of it as well, right?
Correct. Yeah. So once the PPF is done, it goes through a final inspection process. You see the guys putting tape on the car and doing quality control. Once the PPF is good, we're happy with it. Final step on that is doing the ceramic coating. So we use, of course, Expel products, Expel Fusion plus ceramic coating. And there's a few options you can use. But that basically went over all of the PPF, went over all of the remaining exposed paint, the glass, the plastics, and the wheel faces. Each of those products are slightly different and tweaked for the surfaces, but essentially you're sealing in as much as you can on the exterior to just kind of make it easier to keep clean and maintain. Of course, that's going to add the protection layer, but the main reason to do ceramic coating is just ease of maintenance. I'm sure you know when you take the car off-roading and you bring it in, you wash it.
Like everything just sort of falls off.
If that mud's stuck on there, it's going to change your 30-minute wash to a 3-hour wash.
Oh, for sure. And the other thing is, especially on the black plastics, most of the plastics today have an issue with UV and chalking and things like that. So part of the ceramic helps to sort of seal that in against that issue. But and then to remind people who are thinking, ceramic is... Yes, it's a hard layer that gets added as a protective layer, but it's not the right thing for preventing scratches. Correct. And so people kind of conflate those two things about, it protects the car, but it's because it's harder, it also prevents scratches. But that's not what that product is used for. Yeah,
you got it. So that's a great point I always bring up whenever I'm doing a call with somebody is PPF is to protect the paint protection film. It's a thick layer of film. Ceramic coating is a chemical. It's never going to be the same as an actual film on the car. So while ceramic coating might help a little bit on some protection, that's not the selling point to do it. You do it specifically for overall ease of maintenance, making it shine, whether it's PPF, paint, plastic, and then just ease of car washes. So if you can, depending on your budget, if you want to just coating, awesome. If you want to do a mix of maybe just a front end PPF and then ceramic coat the rest of the car, best of both worlds while keeping costs down, great. If you can afford it and you're going to keep the car for a long time, the budget's there, then full body PPF ceramic coating. But yes, ceramic coating is mainly for just sealing it in, making it easier to maintain.
Works really well on wheels because brake dust and things like that. That's one of those things that can eat up the paint or the finish on a wheel, and it's really hard to get off. And having that really slick ceramic coating that kind of fills in the valleys and peaks of whatever the finish is helps for those things to not adhere and stay in the wheel to have a chemical reaction. They're a lot easier to wash off and keep them looking nice.
Yeah, and all those porous surfaces, having the ceramic coating in there just makes it less likely to absorb.
So then from there, we mentioned full tint, and so obviously Expel. It's a film company, so tint is a big part of your business. A lot of people come in because they need tinted windows.
Yeah, we might get cars that come in just for tint, right? Especially in SoCal and Orange County. So in your car, another Expel product, of course. It's going to be the Expel Prime XR Plus. So it's Expel's top-of-the-line nano ceramic tint. Ceramic really is what people are doing in the industry, regardless of the brand.
Yeah.
It's got a lifetime warranty on it. It has a 99% UV rejection.
It makes a huge difference. You know where I feel it is, as I've gotten older, my arms don't like being in the sun.
You got it.
So I'm driving through the desert, and the difference between being in a car without and being in mine with the XR
Yeah.
is like massive difference in being able to put my arm on the door ledge and not feel any heat or being beat up, because it's like it's not the heat of the sun that does it. It's the UV affecting your skin, and I feel a massive difference when I'm driving with that.
It's hard to go back, right?
Yeah, it is.
I know
hard
you
to go
temporarily had to, right, driving it.
And I'm like, oh man, my arm feels like I'm getting roached in the sun. You know, I'm like, I realize, I don't have two windows. Yeah,
and that's why it's become more and more popular with the nano ceramic tint. Is you don't have to go super dark to get the same benefits.
Yeah.
Right. So before it was like 20 years ago, limo tint, everything. Right.
Yep.
Make it as black and dark as possible. Now, on some films, you can do a 70%, which is almost no visual change, but it still has a really high heat and UV rejection.
Yeah.
So, on your car, tinting all the side windows, it's personal preference for the shade and darkness.
Yep.
For like windshields, that's something that people feels a little silly, but over the years, myself as well, in the 8 years I've been here, windshield tint has become extremely popular.
Yeah.
And it's mainly for that same reason of on the windshield, you're not changing the visual look. You want to just get that heat and UV down. So we'll do the lightest option, which is in this case is a 70% tint. And that helps quite a bit for keeping heat out of the cabin and keeping the whole cabin cool.
Which is a big deal when you're prowling around the desert, right? Like any little bit helps.
100%, yeah, totally, man. I'm sure you'll notice that right away when you take it back out.
Yeah, I like I said, just driving down the 15 to Vegas or something like that, it's already a big difference.
Yeah.
So we put a new product. It's been out for probably a little bit over a year or so now.
SEMA 24.
Yeah.
So just over a year.
So I know Jay had this put on his TRX, and then he came back on the show, talked about it a little bit. Chris had offered it up to me before the accident, and so on this one, that was one of the things he said, and we want to do the windshield film. So Jeeps, as you know, are notorious for being rock magnets and picking up everything on the road.
And you know why, right?
Because they're flat.
They're flat.
Yeah.
It's upright, it's flat.
And they're like a rock catcher.
Yeah.
And I've been pretty lucky, knock on your wood desk, but I've been pretty lucky. I've only cracked one Jeep windshield in like the last 15 years.
That's not bad.
But I stay away from, trying to stay away from certain vehicles and places on the road. And so this was kind of a big deal because if you look at what the cost of windshield replacement is, the glass, the deductible, as well as the install itself, a lot of newer vehicles, especially if they have antennas embedded in them, if they've got UV embedded in them, if they've got radar, now you're looking at sometimes $1,000, $1,500, $2,500, $3,000 for a high-end luxury car. Exotics way higher than that.
Exotics over 10 grand, which is wild to think about, but it's just the reality.
And so the price is sub $1,000, and it's great because it's cheap insurance when you compare the price of a windshield.
Really, the whole purpose of doing it is like what you just said, which is you're offsetting that likeliness of the rock going through the glass and cracking it. You can't go back. Right. So putting that film on there it's going to make it so it collects all the pitting over time. This particular product is the latest one from XPEL. It's got a 1-year warranty on it. So not as long as the PPF, which is a 10-year, but there's no alternative, right? It can last longer than that if the car is properly maintained and garage kept. But the nice thing is it does absorb it over that time. And when the time is right, you just simply peel it off.
Yeah.
So depending on the car, the value of the car, on the exotic cars, super simple to justify.
Yeah,
because
totally.
On a Bugatti windshield, I'm just guessing,
yeah.
right? So don't quote me on it, but let's just say it's a $20,000 windshield,
yeah.
right? If you do a product that is sub 1,000 that goes on it, it makes sense. And it keeps it original because on those cars, every dollar matters when it comes to originality.
And on any car, and I think we've said this on the show before, cracking that OE seal around the windshield is, depending on your installer, and this isn't to badmouth any windshield installers because there's a lot of great ones out there, but that can be the difference between wind noise, water leaks. There's sometimes you have to chase it and do another windshield replacement. Yeah. This is a pretty cheap insurance. Like you said, it's, let's say, give or take a year. You come in, you do it as needed, but you're also a third or even better the price of a windshield depending on the car. I'm thinking more mainstream. But you're also not replacing that original windshield or cracking that seal, and so you're not getting into those water or NVH issues that you might have otherwise.
A lot of variables in there, right?
Yeah.
And again, it's to the credit of the people that might be working on the windshield replacements. You get a tool in there, it slightly slips a little bit. Yeah. Now you're damaging the paint. So to try to keep the original windshield nowadays is crucial. So with this product out there, it just eliminates that need from happening.
It's basically for anything. I mean, in our world, Jeep, 4Runner, Raptor, everything.
Yeah, they make it so this has come a long way because years ago it was more selective on certain windshields. Of course, Jeep, G-Wagon, those are easier to do. On some of the trickier ones, like some of the modern Corvettes, where they
have
are rounded,
trim around it.
Exactly. It makes it really difficult where it wants to pop up. So the latest product has been really, really good to us. Glad that you have it on your car. You're going to be able to experience it right away. But yeah, it's a great alternative to just replacing your glass, right? And having to deal with an aftermarket windshield at that point.
I'm impressed with the optical clarity. You cannot tell a difference sitting in the driver's seat unless you get right up in the windshield and turn your head to the right or the left to where you're looking through it sideways.
Yeah.
You can see a little tiny bit of waviness.
Yeah.
But there's 0% chance somebody would know that you had film on it by sitting in the car. You literally cannot tell.
Yeah, you're typically looking through the glass, but if you are looking for it and you're looking at the glass, then it's a little bit different. Yeah. So it's a great point.
That's amazing. So I know what people are going to ask, the number one question, and I'll get to this on the PPF side as a follow-up, but on the windshield film, how do you maintain it? Can you use your wipers on it? What happens if it rains? What happens if it's dusty off-road?
Yeah.
How do you maintain it so you can maintain that optical clarity?
Yeah, so starting with just the basics, trying to keep it as clean as possible with just a basic wash is your first starting point. If the car can be garage kept, that's going to eliminate the sun, so even though it helps with UV, if you can keep that product out for extended periods of time, it's going to help quite a bit. The next step on there is I always recommend turning off auto sensing for rain. The reason why, especially in SoCal, is you don't get a lot of rain.
Right.
So what happens is your car's dirty, you get something that splatters on it, and it freaks out and tries to move the wipers.
And then rubs it in.
And then it pushes the dirt in.
Yeah.
Right? There's not much you can do at that point. The last thing is there is a product that XPEL makes that you can apply to it just to kind of restore it and keep it slick. So the ceramic coating helps quite a bit as well. But outside of that, just keeping the car clean as much as possible.
Would you use like the detail spray that you'd use on the PPF on the windshield?
You can use it on there. Yeah. They do make a specific product for it, but detail spray is just fine. And that's why it's always good to use the same manufacturer product as the product you're putting on
that's
there.
Another good point is XPEL has a full line of chemicals and it's designed specifically for XPEL's films and wraps and things like that.
Yeah, it takes the guesswork out. If you're using, there's a lot of great products out there that you can use, but if you're unsure and you don't already have a good lineup of products, XPEL is a great line of aftercare.
So if you're using the ceramic or the restorative product, is it going to work like, say, like a Rain-X or something like that? Is there a hydrophobic property to the film as well?
There is.
You might see in the rain, it kind of blows off before you need to get into the wipers, which helps you not use the wipers in like light rain?
Correct. And that's the other reason why you should turn off the auto sensing feature, just because a lot of the times the water is just going to bead right off. Depending on the slope of the windshield, obviously the more sloped it is, the easier the water is going to come off of it. But yes, it absolutely has a level of, I can never say the word, hydrophobicity.
Oh, that was really good.
Try to spell it out. So not just hydrophobic, but hydrophobicity, which essentially in fancy words, it makes it so it's less likely to hold that water there.
And you don't want it to hold the water because whether it comes from the tap or the sky, you've got chemicals, minerals, or contaminants that are in the water supply all the time, and you want that off of you want it to etch anything.
Exactly.
So going back to the PPF, how would you maintain that over time? What are the chemicals that XPEL offers, and how can you keep it looking nice so you can get that lasting effect of how it looks the day you have it done?
Yeah, we want to make sure everyone can maintain and keep that warranty on there. So the easiest thing to do is routine washes. So whether it's weekly...
Hand wash, not pay and spray.
So whether it's weekly or every other week, the type of wash you do is crucial. So hand wash, foam cannon wash is the move. Do not go through a gas station car wash because it's either going to use high pressure, which over time eventually is going to catch some sort of an edge, or it uses harsh chemicals to break down the dirt, or it uses bristles, which are really dirty from the thousands of previous cars before you, or a combination of all three.
Yeah, or I mean, how many times have you gone through the car wash and the chamois that are on the big rotating cylinders? Well, I guarantee you those weren't getting just clean cars, and they're rubbing that dirt on everything that goes through there.
Yeah, those are the variables you can't control. So if you need to take it somewhere, hand car wash, off-track car wash, if you tell them that the car is PPF or ceramic coated, it's actually a benefit because you don't need to spend as much money to do like an added wax or something else. You just need a basic wash in the car. So for car washes, it's pretty straightforward for that. And XPEL does make the ceramic soap whether it's the bucket method or to be used for the foam cannon.
Foam cannons, by the way, I'm a huge fan. I bought one off Amazon because Jay was talking about it, and I was like, yeah, okay. But then when I used it, and I started getting the right chemicals, and I was like, why would you do anything else? Because it's got a lot of surfactants. Surfactants, is that right?
I don't know. I'm going to have to fact check you on it.
Anyway, it's got the chemicals that lifts the dirt off of the top of the surface and embeds it in the foam bubbles, right?
Yeah.
And then you can just rinse it off rather than moving it around with like a high pressure spray. It's always better to hit it with the foam first to kind of loosen everything up and get it off the surface.
Yeah, otherwise you're really going to be rubbing around the dirt. And even though it's on PPF, which is, in this case, it's self-healing, and the sun will kind of work its way out, you still don't want to do that if you don't have to.
Yeah.
So, so I'll have to look up that word.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite new words. Friends over at AMSOIL have a great new car care line, and one of their things was, I was talking to the engineer developing it, and it was surfactants, something like that. And I'm like, that's a really cool word I will never be able to say properly.
Yeah, I think you got on this one, though.
I hope so. I hope so. So then you've got it clean. You've used the ceramic soap, foam cannon. You've dried it off with fresh, clean microfibers.
Yep.
You're not using an old beach towel that's been sitting on the garage over the old wheelbarrow or something. Now, car looks great. What are the products to keep up and maintain?
Yeah, so the nice thing is if you have the ceramic coating as well, then it's going to make it so it's easier to dry off. It's good to go. Whether you do or don't, you can still use a quick detail spray if you still see some stuff here and there. If the car looks really good and you want to make it a little more slick, then they have the ceramic boost. So that basically has a similar property to the ceramic coating where the slickness is restored. It makes it like buttery smooth. So that's not something you need to use every car wash. You'll waste the product because it's only going to get so slick.
Yeah.
So usually I'd say like a ceramic spray use maybe once a month, depending on how often you drive your car. But it's just a really good product to make it extra slippery or slick. Outside of that, I typically say the car's clean, you go drive it to dinner, you come back, and it's got some stuff kicked up on the side of it from driving through a puddle. That's great for the quick detail spray. Less is more. So you don't need to be using a ton of product on the car. Yeah. They do make a great waterless wash. Usually that's reserved for if you can't wash the car, and now it's been maybe a week since you wash it and it's a little dusty. What that does is I can't use that word again. It lifts up the dirt off of the PPF or off of the paint and makes it less likely to scratch in the process. I don't push a lot of waterless wash because oftentimes people might get lazy.
Abuse it, yeah.
And then they only do that, and that's not the intent of it.
Waterless wash inappropriateness is what
exactly. I love it. So it's supposed to be used if you have to. That's the product. Otherwise, there's nothing better than a real old-fashioned just car wash or hand wash on the car.
I feel like I remembered or relearned all the things I had forgotten about PPF today, so I appreciate it.
I feel the same way, man. I think I'm very impressed with how much you know about it.
It's one of those products that I was like, yeah, whatever, and then I got to use it, and it was like, oh, this is incredible.
Yeah.
So from the PPF, so I think we've covered PPF. We've got the windshield film. We've got the tint. Maybe real quick, dive into some of the films for like wrapping and color changing cars, because you guys do that here as well.
We do. Yeah, so the PPF is paint protection film, also known as clear bra. Typically, when people think of wrap, it goes back to like a vinyl wrap.
Yeah.
So that's when you're thinking of changing the color of the car.
Or graphics or...
Exactly. Graphics, decals, a livery, stuff like that. So that is a different product. It's not as thick. So a vinyl wrap is 3 mil thick on average. Longevity of those is typically about a year for most of the films in the industry. But you don't do it to protect the car. You do it to change the look. So you bought that brand new Porsche, it was the wrong spec. You got the car black and you really wanted it red. Then we wrap the car with a vinyl wrap. And you could do it a few ways. You can wrap it with or without door jams, which we take the doors off the car. We have a team of technicians in-house that just do teardown and just do reassembly.
That's insane, because there's like, you're working with a 1 of 99 Bugatti.
Yeah.
And there's like a carbon fiber, like real carbon fiber doodad on the spoiler that needs to be popped off. And that one guy in the shop's like, oh, I can do that.
Yeah.
I would be...
I'm not touching it.
I'm not touching it.
Yeah, you don't want me to get back there. But the team does a really good job. Ralphie's been with us for a very long time, before me. And he takes a lot of pride in his work, which is huge. You have to here with the type of cars that come through. But I trust him 100% on stuff. On some of the Porsches, he could do it literally blindly with the blindfold on, just based off muscle memory. But But yeah, having a team of guys that just do that helps with the technicians that are doing the vinyl wrap or PPF to focus on what they're good at. So with the vinyl wrap, you do need to disassemble the car quite a bit more than on PPF just because you're changing the color. So
you don't want to see the color pop through the door jamb, for example, on a white car and you're changing it to black or whatever.
Exactly.
Something high contrast.
And some colors are worse than others. You have a yellow car, you're wrapping purple, right? But if the car is black and you're wrapping it gray, you can get away with not doing door jambs. I never want to oversell somebody on stuff they don't need.
Yeah.
So if you don't need to do door jambs on the car, we'll leave it alone. But otherwise, basic things. Bumpers are disassembled, rockers, headlights, taillights, emblems. In some cases, window trim, certain moldings. And then, yes, with door jambs, the doors individually come off the car. It looks really scary, but the guys know what they're doing. They wrap the inner jam, and it makes it look like
here's my $300,000 car, and the door is coming off. Like you pull the door off the Jeep, whatever. Yeah. It's 2 bolts and a connector, right? I mean, you're pulling off the scissor doors off a Lambo. I can't even imagine what.
It's scary, and that's why anytime we get a car that comes in that's brand new, I'm always hesitant, and we want to get the car in first and really examine it. And if it's something we don't feel comfortable doing, we'll be honest.
Yeah.
The nice thing about what we do is we have a lot of partnerships with these dealerships. So Lamborghini,
you service a ton of the local exotic dealers around.
We do. So even like right now, I think we have about 5 of the cars are from the local dealers. So we've got these great relationships with Porsche, Lamborghini, Ferrari, whoever it might be. So in case we do need assistance, they have the schematics. They'll call us. They'll send a technician over if we need to scan the car. But yes, we treat each car exactly the same, whether it's your Jeep or the Bugatti, for a disassembly. We don't want to mess around. We don't want to get your car back together where it's creaking and missing hardware. We've seen too much come in from other shops, unfortunately.
I would imagine, yeah.
So that process is definitely more thorough and lengthy for like a vinyl wrap.
So if somebody's listening and they're local and they're looking for a shop who can do a killer quality job on PPF or a wrap, how do they find you?
So we are online, of course, on our website. We also have our Instagram account. We do have YouTube as well. I need to put a little bit more time back into that. And the best way to get a hold of us, though, is just give us a call or shoot us an email.
Right.
We're here Monday to Friday, 8:30 to 5:30. I don't have a life outside of this. Neither does Kyle. So we're always here.
Every time I'm here, you're both here, and I've been here a lot lately.
What's a vacation? And it's also because as stressful as it is with the high attention to detail, I like to say the quantity and the quality is rewarding to be around this stuff.
So it's protectivefilmsolutions.com?
Correct.
All right, and then from there you can get in contact with you guys and find all the social stuff. Well, I appreciate it. The Jeep looks amazing. The facility here, you can eat off the floor. If there's anybody who loves their vehicle, and I know a lot of you guys listening probably have your sports car, your third car or something. If you're looking for a shop that you can trust to take it and protect it, this is the one. So go ahead and check them out. Call Jason or Kyle, tell them Sean sent you. And it's been a great experience, and looking forward to doing more stuff with you guys in the future.
I appreciate it, man. It's you've got a rad truck, and forward to more projects with you.
It was funny leaving the car show the other day. Everybody had their exhaust on. I'm like, I can play that game.
Yeah, I got it too. As you drive off of the curb.
Yeah, right.
You can't do that over there, right?
I had a couple of people that were like, "Oh, I like your wheel placement on the curb." I'm like, "Hey, man, their show, not mine. It was good. It was good."
That's awesome.
Good to see you. Thank you.
Thanks, man.
Thanks again to Jason March and the entire team at PFS, as well as Chris Hardy and Expel. You guys absolutely rock, and the Jeep has never looked better, and I feel great taking it off-road and getting some dirt and scratches on it, knowing that the Jeep is fully protected. So, again, if you guys are looking for some great protection film products, you want to go to expel.com, and if you're local to the Southern California area, you'll be hard-pressed to find a better shop than Protective Film Solutions, and you can ship your car across country if you want a really good professional job done. They do that all the time. So, what do you say we check in with the Podshed Insiders?
Join the Podshed Insiders, why not? We're having fun with all that's being said, hooting and hollering in the online shed. We're having fun, talking trucks, and other totally rad and random stuff. No matter where you are, hang out in Holman's backyard. Join the Podshed Insiders, why not?
That's right. Why not? Why not join the Podshed Insiders? If you are on Facebook and you're looking for an awesome group of fellow truck show podcast loving enthusiasts, head on over to the Podshed Insiders, where you guys have been going off lately, man. We got so much good content in there. Chris Alter continues to grace us with all sorts of vehicles that he's trying to fix, including his H3, I think, is next up. I got some posts in there on stuff that I'm doing, little teases here and there, and I also announced the shows on there first before anybody else gets it. Got pictures of the 6x6 SoFlo Customs Jeep in there from Dan Church. Says, saw Holman's 392 in Tampa today. Yeah. Oh, man, it's great. And then there's even some Dr. Pepper talk, like Bergie Meister with, I seen this at the hardware store and had to try it. It was Dr. Shasta. And there's a conversation currently going on with Dr. Pepper, Mr. Pibb, Dr. Thunder, Dr. Skipper, Dr. Shasta, and everybody's chiming in with what their favorite is. And Rich is in there talking about all the things the Truck Show podcast has made him buy. And we got a picture of OVR Magazine sitting amongst a ton of magazines at a Barnes & Noble in New York City. So there's all sorts of stuff in there. And we've got a bunch of other great stuff in here, where there are people introducing themselves, their rides. Sometimes we've had a few people who are asking questions about the podcast with some advice of, which lights do I run, or what lift, or I'm having problems with this truck. And you guys are so great at helping each other out. So anyway, I love the community on the Truck Show podcast, Podshed Insiders group, and I'm sure you will too. If you have not joined, you should do that. It's almost to 500 people. That's a lot of people who love coming back every week for Truck Show podcast stuff. So, all right, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of the Truck Show podcast. Send me your thoughts and email the show, truckshowpodcast@gmail.com. Been a little light on emails lately. Send them in.
The Truck Show, the Truck Show, the Truck Show, oh, oh.
And if you just can't get enough, then follow us on social at Truck Show Podcast and at Sean P. Holman. And it's been a little slow on the podcast page on Instagram, but I've got some making up to do. I know Dave's been working on stuff, and he gets stuff up there, and I appreciate that. And, of course, you can call the 5-star hotline and be on the show, 657-205-6105. I love to hear your voices. Whether you're cruising across country in your truck, towing a load in the middle of the night, or you're at the dealer waiting to sign the paperwork on your new truck, or you just have a question about, I don't know, what's in my cup holder. You know what's in my cup holder. You just want to tell us what's in your cup holder. Then give us a call. Again, 657-205-6105. And join the Facebook group, Podshed Insiders. All right, got to thank our sponsors. AMSOIL, of course, man, they are the best products. You can never worry about your vehicle when you've got AMSOIL products on board, whether that's synthetics or lubricants or greases or even car care products. They have a whole line of chemicals that are absolutely phenomenal, and they'll get you taken care of at AMSOIL.com. And then awesome knives at a great price, Kershaw, which can be found at kershaw.kaiusa.com. And the best and high-quality adventure, gear, lifestyle, and vehicle reviews are only found in the pages of OVR Magazine. Get free access to our digital library or a discount on print by heading to OVRmag.com and using the code @TruckShowPodcast. As always, you can head on over to TruckShowPodcast.com to the featured product section. Scroll down, and you can see a bunch of discounts from our partners and sponsors, our friends and guests, and there's some great stuff on there. And apparently you guys have been buying some Flated products, too. We have an affiliate link up there, and Flated is sending us a little kickback here to support the show. So keep buying those Flated products. I love the Flated on the Gladiator. It's been absolutely phenomenal. I need to make a little social video on that. And thanks for supporting the show by supporting our sponsors. It means a ton to me, and appreciate all of you guys. And like always, I look forward to doing it again real soon.
The Truck Show Podcast is a production of Truck Famous LLC. This podcast was created by Sean Holman and Jay Tillis, hosted by Sean Holman, and uses production elements by DJ Omar Khan and Jay Tillis. If you like what you've heard, please open your Apple Podcast or Spotify app and leave us a 5-star review. And if you're a fan, there's no better way to support the show than by sharing it and patronizing our sponsors. Some vehicles may have been harmed during the making of this podcast.
So behind me is a 25 Jeep Gladiator, and this one has stock exhaust. I think we can do better.
Much better.